You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
Power music glorifying the skinhead movement is thriving. Third, the global expansion of the Hammerskin Nation and other skinhead groups through the internet has resulted in the expansion of other white supremacist sites and has enhanced the ability of skinheads to communicate with each other. Finally, the level of competition from other white supremacist groups has been reduced by the deaths or arrests of their leaders and the resulting leadership vacuum characterized by group infighting. 104 Conclusion and Future Trends of the Radical Right. Mickey Volrazek Bolden lists future trends of the radical right and right-wing terrorists and the threats they pose for Americans in the 21st century. The first trend is the right-wing shift from group affiliations to individual actors. 105 Louis Beam, a former Texas KKK Grand Dragon and participant in the Aryan Nations, is associated with promoting the concept of leaderless resistance. In his essay, Leaderless Resistance, Beam advocates the use of individuals or autonomous small groups, also known as cells, to perform acts of violence. Leaderless resistance is a means of avoiding the perceived pitfalls of the military model of organization. The unlinked cells and individuals make detection, information gathering, and informant development difficult. 106 One example of leaderless resistance was the involvement of Timothy McVeigh, Terry Nichols, Michael Fortier, and Lori Fortier in the Oklahoma City bombing. Use of leaderless resistance increases the need for effective long-term undercover officers to gather intelligence and be vigilant for signs of radical cells or lone wolf terrorists. Undercover officers must gain sufficient trust to be included in the more secure and exclusive gatherings where terrorist actions are likely to be discussed and planned or more radicalized individuals identified. Other future trends of right-wing groups mentioned by Volrazek Bolden are attempts to have right-wing ideas and images assimilated into mainstream politics, and a rise in Odinism, white power rock music, and the influence of neo-Nazi groups. The desire of some group members to acquire weapons of mass destruction is mentioned as another future trend. 107 The confiscation in 2004 of a cyanide compound belonging to William Carr and his common-law wife Judith Brewy is an example of this potentiality becoming reality. 108 An additional trend involves the continued refinement of communications networks on the Internet, resulting in a potential ability to connect extremist and terrorist groups throughout the world. Related to this trend is the globalization of terrorist and extremist groups, including their symbols, religions, and music. The final trends described by Volrazek Bolden include the formation of a more hardcore group of true believers and the recruitment of college-educated individuals who are more articulate and capable of handling the duties of group spokespersons. 109 To safeguard our nation from future acts of terrorism, a constant awareness of right-wing extremist beliefs, activities, and adherence must be maintained. Public safety officials must be aware of the heroes and martyrs of the radical right and the catalytic events that may result in future acts of terrorism. Individuals committing criminal activities associated with the proliferation of right-wing extremist activities must be investigated and, if sufficient evidence is present, effectively adjudicated. The threat posed by the radical right may seem dormant, but the ideas Bayesinger, RIGHTWINGGROUPCHARACDGRISTIC 16 HOMELANDSECURIDENFFAIRS, GOL, IINO. 2. GULE 2006 http://www.sobs.org that promote violence against the government and other perceived enemies remain a constant danger. Developing sufficient and timely intelligence will be important in avoiding future catastrophic incidents of terrorism perpetrated by right-wing extremists. Captain Timothy G. Bayesinger is a 28-year veteran of the Missouri State Highway Patrol and currently serves as the director of the Research and Development Division. His administrative duties have included staff inspections, strategic planning, property/evidence coordination, law enforcement accreditation, and assessment center management. Captain Bayesinger recently completed his master's degree work at the Naval Postgraduate School's Center for Homeland Defense and Security.
And so we have the end of the transcripts read to you by a computer, some sort of automatic voice reading, text reading program, about what the government thinks about the right-wingers. Now, obviously, there are some extreme right-wingers out there who are really angry people. But the amount of these people, I think, is few that are willing to revolt at this point. I think everybody wants to work within the system, but we have to vote out those people who did not read these various stimulus packages and just voted for them. That's what we have to do. We can take no excuses. We have to take a serious look at what's going on here, how the future of our children have been sold out. And there is, as much as the government wants to deny it, a new world order that even President Obama is talking about. Everybody's talking about this new global entity where we're just going to be one of many nations, and we're going to share the wealth, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's some serious stuff going on here. It is probably too late to stop this freight train. The fact that it's a disaster for the United States really doesn't matter. I think the big money people will somehow make money out of this thing at the expense of everybody else. Already everybody's lost half of their retirement funds. People who worked all their life and invested in all these investment people have screwed them. There still can be speculation on fuel. No one's trying to stop that. This Phil Gramm from Texas, I believe, who voted to pass this bill to allow these people to do whatever they wanted, which had something to do with this whole collapse. There should be a class action suit against him. I really want to see people in jail. I want to see prosecutors go after these people, and I don't want them going to executive prisons. I want them to do hard time, not going to these country club prisons that they have for people who rob the savings of people. These are people that we trusted, and they screwed us. So in any event, I really hope that you listen to what the government thinks about us and the innuendos as far as the right, and understand that the left have done their share of bombings, but I guess that's okay. The left can do what they want. That's okay. Anyhow, sweet dreams. Have a nice day. And as they said to Mrs. Lincoln, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? And maybe that's what we have to look at it. But I really feel sorry for our kids, our children's children, and according to our elected officials who have everything guaranteed for them, they don't have to worry about their investments going to have. They are going to be fed. They're going to be getting medical attention forever. Take care.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.